A little over a year ago, Congress passed something called the Stock Act. It was to make sure that the Congress members and their staff did not do insider trading. It was called Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge, because oftentimes in Congress, they'll know which direction the market's going to go before anybody else does. They have insider information. And what this act did is it said, okay, in the past we used to trade on that, but we're cleaning ourselves up. We're not going to do that anymore. In fact, here's a quick description. The Stock Act would have required members of Congress, their aides, and other federal employees making more than $119,000 a year to disclose their financial dealings in an online database. Now, it said it would have required, but wait a minute, it already passed. In fact, when it passed, here's what President Obama said when he signed it. The idea that everybody plays by the same rules is one of our most cherished American values. It's the notion that the powerful shouldn't get to create one set of rules for themselves and another set of rules for everybody else. And if we expect that to apply to our biggest corporations, to our most successful citizens, it certainly should apply to our elected officials, especially at a time when there's a deficit of trust between this city and the rest of the country. A deficit of trust between Washington and the rest of us. Well, that's certainly true because Congress hovers between 9 to 15% approval rating, and everybody's losing faith in the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, and all the different branches. So, what did they do? They repealed a major part of the Stock Act at the end of last week when no one was paying attention. It was supposed to apply to the 28,000 staffers as well. They had already delayed it twice. Oh, no, we're going to have to study this. No, no, no. We wouldn't want it to apply to staffers. Now, look, the staffers are very important because oftentimes they're the guys who cut the deals. Jack Abramoff was on the Young Turks once. Now, remember, he was the guy who was the crooked lobbyist. He went to jail for it. He's now reformed and tells people the tricks of the trade. And he said one of the biggest tricks of the trade was I would go to a staffer and I would say, hey, you seem to be really competent and smart. Perhaps we could have a position for you later. Meaning, hey, if you're a good boy and you do what I tell you to do, I'm going to pay you a lot of money later. So the staffers are incredibly important, and whether they have stock information is important. And so now, of course, they exempted them. Now, did they do it with the same fanfare they did in signing this bill? Oh, we have cleaned up this town. Everybody blow the bugle. We're ready. No, 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 no. Get a load of this. The Stock Act repeal of this portion. Now, again, it still applies to the president, the vice president, members of Congress, and some officials that are appointed. But the staffers are an enormously important part of this equation, okay? They repealed it in the Senate in 10 seconds. In the House, it took a whole 14 seconds. They were unanimous. They can't get agreement on the simplest background check. 9 out of 10 Americans agree to it, they won't do it. Now, if you ask Americans, hey, should congressional staffers and government employees be able to trade on secret information that they have that nobody else has and make money off that? I guarantee you at least 9 out of 10 Americans would say, oh, hell no, right? And by the way, the Federal Employee Union also, oh, no, no, you got to let them trade. They were one of the bad guys in this case, okay? So what happens? Hey, will you look at that? Total bipartisan agreement. Yeah, let's continue to do insider trading. Now, of course, when it went to President Obama, he's not going to sign that, right? I mean, here's the guy who talked about a deficit of trust and we're cleaning the country up and the government up. Da, 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 da. You see where this is going. Yeah, immediately. Where's the pen? Where's the pen? I signed it. I signed it. I signed it. Okay, yes, yes, yes. Screw that. Change. Come on. I was kidding. Passed as easy as any bill has ever done. They passed it finally on a Friday night. That's when they do the things that they don't want you to know about. They bury it before you go to the weekend so nobody pays attention. And by the way, here's the final icing on the cake. What was their official excuse for repealing this incredibly important check to make sure that they're not cheating and that they're not getting any extra advantages in Washington? Quote, they claimed it was an unwarranted risk to national security and law enforcement, as well as threatening agency missions, individual safety, and privacy. What a joke. So if we don't let you do insider trading on the information you have that we don't have, that's a national security issue? It might somehow endanger you? How would it endanger you? If we got so mad that you're cheating us the whole time? That's the thing that might put you in danger. I mean, what an unbelievable, colossal joke. They said, what if these employees and government officials are in a foreign country and people find out what stocks they have? And then what would happen? All of Washington is a fraud. So if you got excited for a second that they were cleaning up their act with the Stock Act, you got another thought coming to you, man. And by the way, outside of us, how many media outlets are covering this story? You think CNN's worried about this? They're like, was somebody arrested? Was somebody not arrested? Oh my God, what's happening? What's happening to the cruise ships? This is what your government's doing to you. They've sold the whole government, lock, stock, and barrel, and you're still sitting there worried about what happened to a cruise ship.